photographed this far?
Thank you very much. I think we may need longer time than this to discuss on the progress and assessment. Generally, I know there is some sort of resentment that the war is not being fought, is not being won. But of course, we understand the expectation of the public. The public is somehow frustrated because whenever they wake up, they see scandal after scandal coming out, whether it is at county government or national government. But this is a problem that its genesis is quite long. We have to understand that corruption started even before independence, because if you look at the first legislation on corruption was done in 1956, which means the Mzungus themselves had already been involved, got involved in the issue of corruption. Yeah. And at that time, almost 7 years before independence, they found it wise to legislate something on corruption. And when Kenya became independent, unfortunately, that problem still continued. Yeah. And it went to a stage that it was being glorified. Because I remember very well, you know, Trevor, I know you are a very young man. I remember when I was in secondary, there's a minister who was sacked. Yeah. And the second day that minister said, I don't have transport to take my things back to home. And everybody was laughing at that minister, that he was a minister for a long time, and he didn't accumulate enough. Yeah. So you can see there was a stage that corruption was somehow being glorified. Okay. And there are other international aspects on corruption in the developing world. There was that great period of the Cold War, yeah, where we had two main powers supporting African countries. We had the Western-led angle, which was being led by the Americans, and we had the Eastern Bloc, which was being led by the Soviet Union. At that time, those two blocs were making partnership with African countries without looking at their accountability, their form of human rights and all this. So at that period, yeah, a lot of African countries were deeply involved in corruption. Let's say to mention DRC, many other countries. Yeah. Because these big blocs will turn a blind eye on what is going on. Yeah. So that also encouraged a lot of corruption. There was a lot of money that was being pumped to the developing countries. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, that money could not be accounted for. Many projects failed. Yeah. Come the post-Cold War era, a lot of things came out. There was actually the opening up of the world politically, socially, the coming of the internet, where everything changed in this world. Yeah. If you look at what happened in the last 25 years, 30 years, there's a very big leap in terms of openness, transparency. So you find that this is where now things came. In 2003, the United Nations Convention Against Corruption classified corruption as a very big global problem. Yeah. And that's how this 9th December came in as the International Anti-Corruption Day. And you may be shocked that one of the first countries to sign this convention, yeah, was Kenya. That was 2003. Okay. So where are we heading to? Someone can say that the war on corruption somehow has been a frustration and maybe we are not doing very well. But what I can assure the public is that my own assessment, and for those who can do some research, yeah, you'll find that we are heading to the right direction in the fight against corruption. Okay. 20 years ago, 25 years ago in this country, you could not arrest a minister. You could not arrest a permanent secretary. You could not arrest even a head of public, state corporation. You'll be told, slow down, and you won't do anything. Today we do our business. We arrest ministers, the DPP is here. Yeah. We lock governors, we charge them, and nobody calls you to tell you, why are you doing this? Okay. So we are in the right direction. Yeah. I know the results are yet to be realized. Okay.